Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 33. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm the man who left his microphone stand and microphone at his house.
Yeah, that's Zack Huber there.
And I'm holding a microphone.
Yeah, and it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, some podcasts do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the podcast where we discuss nerd topics and nerd culture from the past week and this week. But this week, I think we're kind of doing like what happened within the last month.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that we are interested in, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's not everything in the last month, but
yeah. So this is more a last month, this week sort of episode, which all of these will have time codes in the description. We're going to talk about the new Monsterverse, Kurt Russell and his son show coming up.
Yeah.
We're talking about movie delays. We're talking about... What else are we talking about?
Talking about Asoka?
I was going to end with that one. We're talking about Ahsoka.
Yeah. We're talking about Gal Gadot's comments.
About a Wonder Woman 3.
We are discussing related game. We don't discuss many games on here.
No, we don't.
It's kind of TV related. Based. Okay, well, that was, sure. Yeah, it's TV related, so it felt right. But I think that's about it. We might have one more, but that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
So, I think we wanted to start off with some Ahsoka news, right?
At least review the first 2 episodes that dropped.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
We did not get to watch it together.
No. Most things I think in the future we won't be able to watch together, unfortunately.
No. But what did you think? Because I got to watch it before today.
So I think if you're a Rebels fan, it's obviously paying off, right? And I think the problem, I don't think it's even a real problem, because like I enjoyed so much of these first 2 episodes, even though I've only seen like a handful of episodes, maybe not a handful. I've seen more than a handful for the Clone Wars, but like I've seen a little bit of that, but I haven't seen any of Rebels.
Yeah,
and they really throw you into like a lot of what happened in that first episode from the finale. The Battle of Lorath. Is that right? Right? Yeah.
Lethal.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, the visuals for me, even though it wasn't like Rogue One or like Andor, it wasn't like gritty and whatnot. It was kind of the opposite almost, because it was reflecting like an animation cartoon universe that it was based off of. But I feel like that this style works so well, even though I'm not even a Rebels fan, you know?
I think there's... first of all, I really like the episodes. I think after hearing some critiques about it, I guess I can see where people are coming from, and maybe I have some critiques of my own, but for the most part, like I understand where you're getting at. Like it is not gritty. It is more reflective of, like, it does play like a cartoon in some ways.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
And I don't think it's a bad thing.
It gives like some life to Star Wars, you know, like some real character vibrance.
Yes.
I really enjoyed like how the cities, the buildings all look together.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It all looked really nice. Yeah.
I think there were some critiques about the use of the volume.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I thought things were, I think if I looked back, I might have critiques about how it looks if I had to dissect the scenes. But while watching it, for the most part, all of it was done really well. Like I really like that place that Ahsoka was at the beginning of the episode.
Sure.
Seeing Lethal in live action is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's paying off so well if you've watched Rebels. And boy, they couldn't have name dropped Ezra anymore, huh? like wow, yeah.
But overall, I really enjoy these. They do feel more like the one thing I will say is
and before we keep saying more, spoiler review at this point. Yeah.
I will say that I'm wondering what the point of the show will be, because to me, this whole show, and this is not necessarily a critique, it's just I feel like this whole show isn't so much about Ahsoka as it is.
It's Rebel season 5 or 6 or whatever. Yeah.
And also, we want to just expand a bunch of lore and be able to. This is kind of like in a lot of ways what they wanted to do with like an Ant-Man Quantumania, where it was solely, I feel like, just bridging these, trying to bridge the stories. Because I don't really feel like at the moment there's any reason to call this show Ahsoka.
I get you. I really do. Because it's not like Ahsoka was my favorite part of this. I would say she was maybe my least favorite part of this whole show, which is a little sad. I think Rosario Dawson plays her really well. Maybe I wouldn't say that
better in previous like Mandalorian episodes. But I just don't feel there's a focus on Ahsoka. There's almost more of an emotional focus on Sabine than there is Ahsoka.
Oh, totally. I thought Sabine stole the whole show. I thought Sabine was great. Honestly, yeah. Her place was great. I thought her design looked great. And her cat. That's all Rebels. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that her place is Ezra's place at the beginning of
Rebels. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean,
like that's where you see him.
I would also say that Balon kind of stole the show for me too.
Oh my god, he's so good.
That intro, it was pretty stunning. Well, I'm pretty happy with it.
I love the intro.
Yeah,
but like I've heard critique of, and I kind of went along with it because I will here's okay. I'll get to what I was gonna say, but if you have a prisoner that is very much wanted, and then you have this unidentified using an old call signal, why would you just? Oh, I just want to like have fun with them and fuck with them.
Right. If the captain actually thought they were Jedi, then I would get it. But like he didn't for 1 second think they were Jedi.
No. So why? So it was just like,
yeah. But I guess here's the thing. He wasn't expecting any Force user. You know, like he's thinking, well, we got soldiers out the ass here. We can just take care of them.
I guess that's kind of why I give it a pass.
Right.
But it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel you. And,
just like this star map is buried in this, thousands of years tomb, and it's.
Well, I guess here's the thing. I guess you can say that like for some reason, I don't even know who banished Thrawn. By the way, who did that? I don't know. But let's say that like this person who banished him knew what this planet was and where it existed. Maybe because they're a Night Sister or new Night Sisters or whatever. And this map is like a map to a Night Sister world that was lost, I guess. I don't know. It's not making like complete sense.
Yeah.
But I can kind of bridge it in my mind, I guess. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really. But I think the lore building and the mythology is cool. That's going on. I think it's cool to get a Night Sister in live action.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think.
Well, you know what's interesting? I didn't know that the person they broke out. She was in The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, that's like what I wanted to say is the fact that they had an opening crawl was so nice.
Yes, I agree. It was actually kind of necessary for the show. But it also wasn't like yes, I'm proud and kind of proud, and I'm shocked they did it. But it would have been nice to have like a little more traditional of an opening crawl. Because it was just kind of like straight down.
I see what
it's not at the angle.
Sure,
I don't know. Yeah,
it didn't bother me.
Sure.
I just was happy to have one.
Sure,
I guess.
Sure.
And it was in red, which was cool.
It was kind of cool. Yeah. It's kind of showing, I guess, a differentiator between movies and the shows.
And I think maybe that had something to do with it literally opening on like a villain scene.
Sure.
And it was kind of mostly focusing on like the villain plot.
Right.
But I think it's cool. Like we have these, what's his name?
Balon
and Shin, who are
Shin was
not Jedi, but not Sith.
Yeah, they're like mercenaries, basically.
And we have some Inquisitor who has a actual name.
But we haven't heard it.
We have.
So
no, it starts with like an M. He's like an M guy's name.
But how do you,
going to...
I expect it not to be... It's going to be someone we know. That's what I think.
It does feel like it's somebody we know.
To me, it feels like we're either... I think this is my big theory. I think that's Ezra. I'm just going to straight up say that's Ezra.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting if it is, which I don't know if... I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sure that's going to piss off a lot of people if he turns like kind of Sith or whatever.
Yeah. But it is like, I was talking to a coworker who also like her favorite character is Asoka, and also we're talking about the show or like Star Wars today, and she like learned about who Sabine Wren was, and I know it's just a name, but it is interesting that we're now trying to bridge this gap to the sequel trilogy, and then you have the Knights of Ren, and we just started to think about like, could Sabine go bad, and maybe that's how this Ren thing comes along. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be a bummer. That'd be a really big bummer.
Well, unless it turned out to be a really good story.
Sure. I guess the thing is that like,
because we know, like, I think the thing about this is we know that all of these, like,
all these characters don't survive until episode 7. That's what we can figure out. Right?
Right.
Because, I mean, here's the thing. Because you could say,
but
where was Ahsoka during the original trilogy, right? And she's still alive. So maybe Sabine's still alive during 7, 8, and 9, and she just never shows up. I don't know. Why? But why? I don't know.
Sure. But why? And then they like fill in the blanks.
I would still like an explanation about Ahsoka not showing up in 4, 5, and 6.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, we know that like the movie that's gonna come out is not going to end well for any of the characters.
You think it's a full finale for the whole universe?
But we know the First Order takes over. Like, how do you do that movie and have it end on a good note?
Sure. It's gotta end like episode 3 almost.
Yeah.
Where like the characters are in place for the next trilogy, but something horrible has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of see the writing on the wall, but I don't know. As much as I'm not a huge fan of the sequel trilogy, like it is cool seeing them bridge that gap. Like I'm happy they're trying to explain some things.
I mean, this is a more interesting time than
the
sequel trilogies.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that whole as much crap as I give Mandalorian season 3, that council scene where they had like all the holograms and it was like a bunch of Imperial officers, that was cool as hell. Like, give me more of that, because this time period, I don't know. It's ripe with collusion and secret warfare, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, and I like the like Andor-esque having the explaining like, how did you figure that we were going to have a republic if we don't hire all these, still keep on the workforce?
Right.
Interesting. There's cool things
for sure.
I do want to say that Sabine was great.
Yes,
I think all the cast that they have is great.
Yeah, Hera was great.
Hera's great. Chopper was
Yang.
God, I love Chopper.
Yang was maybe my favorite.
He was great,
like next to Sabine, right?
I mean, amazing droid.
So he was in Rebels too, I'm assuming.
I don't think so.
He wasn't. Wow.
I mean, I haven't seen him.
He almost felt like a Rebels character, like genuinely in design and like personality.
Yeah.
I will say another one of my gripes with these first 2 episodes. The Sabine fight with Shin, that was good. I was excited. It was a good fight. And then she gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. I'm just so tired of stabs not meaning anything. Like that. And like, why would Shin not finish the job? Like, why would you I don't know. You were sent there to kill Sabine. Like, I guess you were sent there to also get the map.
Well, I guess she got stabbed and then Ahsoka showed up.
Yeah, but you could just go bzz, and then like go horizontal and she's cut in half.
I
hear
that's
all
you.
I'm saying.
No, I hear you for sure.
It's just starting to get a little annoying.
No,
yeah.
I when she got stabbed, I went and I went, come on,
yeah,
she's not dead.
And
like
then the next day, she's like pretty much 90%.
Your wounds have healed. Okay,
yeah.
No, that is frustrating. I do like I really like the Indiana Jones-esque, like it did feel like
the beginning
with Ahsoka. Like that was great.
For sure. It was
There's a lot of, I do love that they do spend a lot of time on scenes.
Yeah.
Which I like, as opposed to these like really quick, we go through everything very, very quickly.
Right.
But
I mean, I also kind of like I
love the music.
Sure, yeah, the score was great, very great.
I think that's half the reason I like this so much is all these other Star Wars shows. I mean, Mandalorian has a great theme and like motifs and stuff that makes you feel like in the world, but this felt more like I like when it gets to the villains part, it's like this thing, it's like
sure.
I don't know, and
it's
they have
more
like
epic,
almost like the Leia theme at times, and
I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. I'd have to listen to it again, but that's cool. Yeah.
How do you not know the Leia theme?
No, I meant like in Ahsoka, like for the music that mirrors Leia.
No, I know, but I'm just like surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say I touched on it a little bit earlier in the review, but Ahsoka, her being my least favorite part of this. And it's mainly due to, Rosario Dawson's performance.
Just crossing her arms all the time.
She's so monotone and so like stoic that it's like you've changed the character like a little too much for me. Even though she's like 15 years older from her time in Rebels and like 30 years older from her time in Clone Wars. It's just a little bit of like I want some emotion. Like when she was talking about like, we're not just doing this for Ezra. We're doing this to stop a war. And I was like, give me some emotion to that. That's an epic line,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want a little more from her. I hope as the show goes on, it starts to open up for her as well. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I just need a little bit more, like, to be honest, as much as I like seeing Lothal and I like the building and I like the scenes of like Sabine doing the shit with the security officers
and the motorcycle.
And I think the fight scene between Ahsoka and the Inquisitor and Hera going after the hyperdrive, I think all that's
works
cool.
Really well.
There's a bunch of great scenes. But in reality, there's things that like brought like Sabine and Ahsoka together, but for the most part, what's happened so far is Ahsoka found the star map. Not a ton has happened. Hera's like a general.
Well, sure. I don't know.
Hera's a general.
They all seem insanely respected, I guess.
But Hera's a general, and she probably like has access to a ton of shit. But then she goes, you know who could help you? Your former apprentice could read this.
Maybe she's got a hidden agenda.
No.
I don't know.
No, but why like Sabine? Like there's probably a bunch of other people. Like Sabine doesn't have that much knowledge. Like the only thing she's like, she's very artful. She has a creative eye. That's the explanation they gave.
So she's not like a super smart person in the Rebels?
She is, but like to figure out this map, like you're telling me it has to be Sabine. There's no like necessary, like there's not necessarily like a super good reason other than like you seem to be good with art because you would, I don't, you know what I mean? So,
I feel you.
But
also, sorry, do you have more to say on Sabine or?
No.
But I was going to ask, do you remember?
Oh, but
sorry.
What really happened in the episode so far is Ahsoka got a map. Mm-hmm. She got it taken away. And now they're going after to get the map.
Yeah.
But now with Sabine.
As her apprentice.
I
like the little Padawan thing at the end.
No, I do. Yeah. I do like it. It's just there's not a whole lot. I mean, yes, there is like a lot of information. Like we're going to this far off galaxy, and we have the introduction of Night Sisters and all these new things, but there's not yes, where there's this relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine that they're mending. Did I really feel like there was that much to mend? I don't know.
Right.
Because I don't really, I think
you didn't see the end of Rebels, so
well, sure, but I think like you were saying, like Ahsoka, like she's just there doesn't seem to be a focus on her and her emotions and
right.
What she's thinking about.
Yeah, she's
just more of this. Let's follow like how Obi-Wan Obi-Wan had actually more emotions and stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
but
totally.
Or like with Mando in season 3, it's like the Mandalorian, but it focused on Bo-Katan more than it did Din most of the time. So
yeah, that's it's unfortunate, but I'm kind of, I mean, I'm living for what comes next, which is the master apprentice relationship. So, but yeah, I was gonna ask, at the end of Mandalorian season 3, or like somewhere in the middle of that, we see a Rebels character. I don't remember his name. At a bar. Do you think? I mean, obviously, we're gonna see him again, right? They set him up for this show, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, they were, if I'm not mistaken, that planet that they went to with all the repair, I thought that was the same place, like the same planet that New Republic outpost that we see him at is. Oh,
you said that you think they went there in Asoka? Is that what you're saying?
I think that place where they like had the Inquisitor fight. I feel like that was the same name, like the same planet name.
It could be.
I could be wrong.
I'd have to see it again, maybe. Yeah. Interesting.
But I do think we're seeing all the characters
from Rebels. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Ahsoka episode 1 and 2. We will be right back with some news on movie delays because of the studios. Yeah. All right. We are back. And let's talk about some movie delays. Yeah.
Let's.
So first one, I don't think either of us are a little upset about this, but Kraven the Hunter was going to come out this October, and it's now going to come out August 30th of 2024.
Wow, that's actually quite the delay.
It's a huge, like 10 months.
But that's a year away from now.
Sure, yeah, it is.
And they're playing the trailer in theaters. Like I went to go see Talk to Me again. They're still playing it in theaters. Not to mention, like I was laughing about it, and I had an issue with like the fact that it's ridiculous that Kraven has these lion abilities.
Yeah, right.
Everybody in the audience with me when that trailer happened was like laughing.
Yeah,
because it's so stupid.
It's so ridiculous.
I was like talking to the person next to me, and I was like, just wait, and then the lion thing happens, and she's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and
then at the end, she's like. She doesn't even, I don't think she knows who Kraven is, but she was even like, why doesn't he even fight like a lion? Like he's just fighting like a normal person.
I mean, he bites a dude's like nose off, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know.
But he's not even lion powers.
Sure, he's just animalistic, I guess, is what you could say.
But just from like, if I was just a normal, like not hip to the comics, which also like again not what the character is,
right?
You know, but if you got the blood of a normal lion, which is all that it is. Sorry to go on a tangent, but like I would think, oh, he had lion powers. No, sure. I don't know. Anyways,
well, I mean,
I'm not excited.
Sad. But this means now that we get 3 Sonyverse movies coming next year, which is awful.
Madam Web. Well,
and Venom 3.
Look, I am an optimistic, positive person most of the time. So you may be like, oh, this is awful. I will not have that disposition except for Kraven because
I'm sorry. There's no part of me that can get excited for Venom 3. Just zero. Okay,
Venom
0.
I don't hate those movies. I just am not.
Yeah, I like them a lot less than you, I think.
I think you do. Which is, totally fine. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not crazy about them by any means. But I do think the Madam Web one has maybe some promise.
It has potential, I guess. But I don't know. Sony can only do animated movies right for me at this point. So, Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget they did make 3 pretty good Spider-Man movies.
Right, but the last good one they made was over a decade ago. So
it's been like a decade.
Yeah. So I don't know. Don't have a lot of faith in Sony and movies is what I'm saying.
But they haven't made a Spider-Man movie since 2014.
Right. But I mean, you got a lot of Spider-Man properties that I don't know, don't seem insanely hard to convert to a movie. But
I think half the problem that they have is that there's no Spider-Man attached.
Yeah, sure. Agreed. Which they could easily do it, but they don't want to butt heads with the MCU, I guess.
No.
So, but yeah, so next delay we have here is Godzilla X Kong. I know you're a little looking forward to that one. But,
yeah. When did that get delayed to?
It was supposed to come out sometimes this year. Now it's going to be April 12th of 2024.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah. And so we'll be talking about another Godzilla property later on.
Right.
But yeah. And then we also got Beyond the Spider-Verse that was delayed indefinitely. Just no release date at this point. Which I can't say is insanely surprising because I feel like they have a lot of work to keep doing on that.
Which at least the animators can keep working to some extent.
Yeah.
It's just
without a release date.
They're not going to have the voice actors do their thing.
No, not until the strike ends.
Yeah.
Right. And then lastly, we got, which was the big news today, Dune 2 delayed from October till March 14th, 2024.
Yeah, that one kind of sucks.
That one sucks so much.
Because that was going to be like my birthday month, and it was going to be because last Dune also came out around the same time, so it was like a little happy birthday for me.
Right.
But I mean, it's not that much of a delay.
It's 5 months, I get it, but like,
so
man, it's just it sucks because like, yes, it's all because of the studios not wanting to come to the negotiation table and actually give writers and actors their fair pay. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like now we're stuck with the Marvels in October, and I think that might be the only thing I'm looking forward to.
I think that's November.
Is that? But it was gonna. I guess I thought it was October because they
It could be. I thought it was November though.
But because I knew Dune 2 was going to be taking like all the IMAX screens while Marvel's was in theaters, but now they get all the IMAX screens. So, yeah, just bummer news all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I would much rather them delay movies and have writers and actors get
but
what they're striking for.
They could give them that and just release the movies on time.
They could. I do think that I don't mean, this is not me being
because to me, I think this is like 100% total studio fault. Like just there's no reason for these delays other than what's going on.
Okay. So I think I'm not defending studios for most of the things, but I will say that when it comes to a big part of this is royalties. And from everything that I've been reading and listening to, when I do think that studios, for the most part, like streamers, like Netflix, I don't think they're as much they're not in positions to necessarily give out residuals the way that normally would happen, because their only income is the subscriptions they have. And that is, it's not necessarily increasing, or you're not getting profit the way that you get people to go to the movie theater and, you get that extra income. I do think that studios, yes, they also they should be in charge of figuring out those royalties. And I don't know how much of streamers and that part of the conversation is, because I don't think that streamers like Netflix have the capital to pay out. They're already a shit ton in debt, and I don't know how much they have.
Sure, but they just keep spending. So,
but also, yes. So
they have money. Obviously, they're making tons of movies and shows.
They have money that's I don't know. I do think that there's
it's not like Netflix is broke.
If they want to pay, like they should pay them more. Most definitely give them benefits. Most definitely. The royalties thing, I think that is a tricky situation because there is so much content and so much of these shows that are being put on streamers that people get paid for. It's not going the same way that like when you play a rerun on TV. Mm-hmm. If people are like watching, you're getting paid for the advertisements. Sure. I mean, but like the majority
but a lot
of people,
these streaming services have ads.
Yes, but I do think that the majority of people still pay for the ad-free versions, and I just don't know where that income is going to go for these, hundreds of shows or that come out each year.
I guess the number that's staggering for me is that the combined like proposal from the SAG and writers
Guild of America.
Okay, yeah, I was like, it's not WAG.
WGA.
Yeah, right. The combined proposal takes less than 3% of the studio, like the combined studio's earnings, and I'm like, you can't dole out like a little over 2%. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, I do. I know it's. I mean, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. I do not know all of the intricacies. Mm-hmm. I will always 100% of the time be with the people who are striking over the studios. I do think, though, not that you should compromise to the detriment of yourself, but a good deal is one where both sides are unhappy. I think if the studio is unhappy and the actors are unhappy on just some things, mm-hmm. At least you're like getting something out of it. But I do think that yes, the studios should be paying out more. It's ridiculous the amount of money that people who are not day in day out working on sets. This is like the camera guys who are getting out of work, the lighting people who are out of work, prop departments that can't, give their props and have people rent them. They can't do anything, and they're not unionized.
There's so many people in the industry who can't afford to like live well or live at all if they're not working on a set. Like, and that's and you can't expect to be working 12 months out of the year on a set if you're an actor or a set guy. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and also I think I can't remember if it's 86 or 93% of actors that work in.
It's 86.
86 make less than $28,000 a year.
So they don't even apply they don't even. Apply for the health insurance because they don't make enough. Yeah,
not apply.
Yeah, what I mean. They don't qualify. Yeah. So, it's an awful mess.
Yeah,
and it's just getting worse because studios keep putting their foot down and like, this is a great deal we're offering you guys. Because Bob Iger even came out apparently, and it's reported that he's like personally offended that they didn't like accept the offer that they gave them. And I was like, dude, get off your high horse. Like, get the hell out of here, man. Yeah. I'm just so tired of it all.
I'm tired of it too. I am especially tired of Disney in a lot of ways because it's frustrating that what Bob Iger was saying that when we made Disney Plus, we didn't know what to set our price range at for subscriptions. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Because now they're charging and
it's double what it was.
Just come out and say we want more of your money, which they'll never do because that's not a good business practice. But also there's been like an investigation going on that the studio that they acquired all this stuff from Fox.
Yeah.
And one of the production studios or the studios in it, they are like not paying them, but they're like, getting all of like this content, but they're like, I think I might have heard about that
today. Yeah.
And it's just that's the way that people run things in business.
They're just so greedy.
And it's horrible. I mean, like, you're Disney. You are Disney.
Just would it not hurt you to maybe like have some good press come your way and be like, yeah, hey, look, those guys agreed to the strike and their proposal. Wow, look at Disney, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That, and also I don't know how you can be Bob Iger and say something like that when you have the mass majority of that particular type of workforce making $28,000 a year. Like that, you have to, you cannot live by yourself.
Yeah.
With that.
You can't.
You have to work a second job.
And you have to, do Uber or Lyft or have a second job on the other end. Right.
That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously like the
strike sucks. The studios suck.
Yeah.
This delay. I mean, not that the strike sucks in that way, you know what I mean? But just that they even have to do it. So yeah, all around sucky situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But next on our list, we got Gal Gadot's comments here. Yeah, so she's she said a lot, and this is from a couple weeks ago. I know that, but yeah,
it's not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
But basically, she had two big quotes that came out. One, I'll read it here. I love portraying Wonder Woman. It's so close and dear to my heart. From what I heard from James and from Peter is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. Then she said, to clarify, I was invited into a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. And what they told me, and I'm quoting, "You're in the best hands. We're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You've got nothing to worry about." The fact that she came out and said all that, insane to be like, this is a direct quote, guys, and I saw, of course, everyone's like, wow, she's saying all this. That must be true, right? Well, then Variety and Collider comes out and they both are like, I'll just read what they said. That despite recent comments from Gal Gadot claiming DC heads James Gunn and Peter Safran told her Wonder Woman 3 would be developed, our sources with knowledge of the situation told Variety that this is not the case. According to the sources, the third Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at this time for any Wonder Woman project in the new DC universe, other than their previously announced Paradise Lost prequel series. And they added that regarding Wonder Woman 3, Gadot was never promised anything, and there was never a definitive discussion on her continuing with the new DC universe. So, yeah.
Do you know if James said anything on
James
X?
never commented publicly like he did about like he commented on Lex Luthor, that rumor about like Johnny Sins.
Right, but that's more of like, that's not you have like an actor. Like that's more of like
right,
a
but
role,
like why would he have to like comment on that and not Wonder Woman and all this
because
drama?
that's not as controversial. I feel like that's not like a public relationship.
But I feel like it'd be huge drama if he came out and was like, Gal Gadot's lying right now.
Exactly.
Right. So he's gotta. I feel like DC was probably like, let's like send some info out to Variety and Collider, whatever other sources, and be like, we're not doing this. Like this is not happening. Right. So it sounds like at least that Gal Gadot was doing some kind of power play and wanted this Wonder Woman movie to be made regardless if they didn't want it or not. And I mean, kind of respect for that to be so determined, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's bizarre that even happened.
Yeah, it's like a he said, she said sort of situation. But I think,
but like, why would they promise that to her and then lie now? Or like reverse that, scratch that, reverse it. No.
The only reason that I am leaning towards it being like a power play, like you said, is because there's a new Superman, there's a new Batman.
Sure. She's expecting a new Wonder Woman to happen.
There's a Paradise Lost show that's not, it's more,
that doesn't have any Wonder Woman in it. Right. It's just the Amazons.
Yeah.
Amazonians.
Amazonians.
That sounds more right.
Yeah. I would imagine you're going to have a new Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see how a Wonder Woman fits.
It just doesn't work for me. I mean, I don't know, and obviously,
because you're also going to have
fan,
if we keep Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, why don't we have Henry Cavill's Superman?
There you go. That's the argument everyone is having, and
everybody,
and I get it. I really do.
It'll already the DC movies, the DC fan base is already so split and upset that to do something like that. Like you're already at a disadvantage with most of the general public basically having the, thought like DC movies
kind of suck.
Are not, yeah. I will say that it is pretty consistent though that when a DC movie is good, it is most likely better than anything Marvel's made. For the most part.
Sure. When they really knock it out of the park.
Exactly.
Sure.
Which is somewhat every 3 years, maybe every 4.
Yeah. It's a little like here and there because you had Man of Steel, but then I wouldn't say I was blown out of the water by like a DC movie until like the Suicide Squad.
You get Man of Steel, you get the Suicide Squad, you get Joker, you get the Batman.
So, but those last 3 happened all pretty recently, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
but I would even say something like, I guess I can't, but I will say like Aquaman. I was really surprised at how much I liked that movie.
Sure, but I wasn't like, this is better than anything Marvel's done.
It's at least, but it has an identity. Like
sure,
it has more,
but
like,
some Marvel stuff's got an identity.
No, they do. Yeah. But like more often than not, there's like that Marvel feel.
Sure.
But it's already at a disadvantage because of the general public. And then if you already have people who are upset about the whole situation in general, I feel like having Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It's not because I don't believe her because of anything about her or I don't know. It's okay.
Okay, it's fine.
But like it's or that I trust James and Peter more than her. It's just it doesn't make any sense. And also in terms of even though Wonder Woman 2 didn't really have a theatrical release, so it's hard to say the box office, but it's not exactly the most well-liked movie.
I mean, I think it's the worst movie in all of the DCU. Which is really saying something because there are some bad ones in the DCU. But
you think it's worse than
anything you say right now? I'm gonna say yeah.
Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Like David Ayers?
Yes. Yeah. I don't like that one, but I agree. It's just so bad. It's just.
I mean, that's your opinion. I don't know. I personally don't know how to answer that one. They're like Suicide Squad was like the thing that broke my back. Like that was that's what got me off of DC for quite a while.
That's interesting because I mean, if you remember,
I was already
that's only the 3rd movie in that universe.
Exactly, because Batman v Superman was so devastatingly disappointing.
Sure.
I still specifically remember how upset we were all when we saw that movie.
You might have been the most upset.
I was so upset. Yeah. And then just to top it off with Suicide Squad being just, I was like, I'm done. Because I had been betrayed. So like it was such a betrayal.
But then the next movie was Wonder Woman, right?
And I never saw it. I didn't see it for years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't see it. What was after Wonder Woman? Justice League?
Yeah. Yep.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
It was in Aquaman?
No, Aquaman was after Justice League.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Justice League, that
was bad.
I saw like online, like on a streaming service.
Right.
Like I waited that long. I didn't see it in theaters. And I also was disappointed. And then I didn't see Aquaman for like until maybe the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. Yeah. You really just jumped off the train. Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah. I'm actually starting a rewatch of like not all of the projects, but 9 of the DCU projects. So I think at least. But
now I'm back on it.
Right. And I would say 8 of those 9 are good projects.
Like, what's the one that you're not going to watch? Wonder Woman?
Well, there's 5 I'm not going to watch. there's 14 projects in the DCU, and I'm only watching 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not watching Wonder Woman 84, any of the Shazams, or Black Adam, or Birds of Prey.
Oh, that's another one. Birds of Prey.
I actually like Birds of Prey.
Why aren't you gonna watch it?
Because I don't think it really matters to the whole continuity. Like, I don't really need to watch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie. In my opinion, it's not great.
People would agree with you, and yeah, I get that. But I had a lot of fun watching it. But yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
Well, I would say let's take another break real quick, and then we will be back with a cool trailer that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We are back, and let's talk about some Rebel Moon trailer. Yeah. So that came out. That was kind of this week news. Actually, that was very much this week news.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was something. This movie, I don't think I was very hyped at all, because it felt very much like, at least the pictures I had seen, it felt like a Star Wars ripoff where you just kind of had some basic rebel plot. And I was like, I've seen a lot of Zack Snyder movies. I'm okay if I don't see this one. Because that's not like I saw Army of the Dead or anything. I was like, whatever.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very impressed by this trailer.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean? I've seen a lot of Zack Snyder movies.
I know what they look like in general. You know,
I don't need to see this one.
If this was genuinely, if this was a Star Wars ripoff that didn't look that good, I'd be like, all right, I can pass. But now that I've seen the trailer,
would you say that most Zack Snyder movies you've seen, you like? Watchmen.
I would say yes. Most I like, but there are a couple that I don't think are good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've heard Army of the Dead wasn't very good.
I got some good things.
I felt like this might go that course, but I like I was gonna say on this trailer, I think it looks very good. I'm very excited about this movie. Happy I have Netflix again so I can watch this. But yeah, so some details here. Yeah, this is kind of being broken up into 2 movies, or at least it's being announced that there's 2 movies. One is The Child of Fire or something like that. I didn't write that one down. I didn't write that one down.
Oh.
But the chapter 2 is called The Scargiver, which I think is this character's name. The child/princess that we follow. So yeah, that there's another child at the heart of this that's supposed to stop a war. So there's that.
Yeah.
I really loved all the like the differences in environments. There were so many like farmland with grain, and then you had like high-tech societies and like high societies with these like really weird cultural funerals, and there was just
is that
so
not the
much.
same as what Star Wars is when you have the farming planet of Tatooine?
Sure.
Or, and then go to Coruscant.
But there was also a lot of like really gritty stuff in there. Like you had this like spider-like creature that was.
Oh yeah.
I mean that was and yes, there are like lightsaber type weapons, but they look different enough for me that I'm okay with it. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff. I don't know. I mean, the whole vibe of it looks grittier, and I think that's just from it being a Zack Snyder movie. But yeah, I mean, what did you think?
I think visually, for the most part, it's at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. Agreed.
As there's more shots going along,
yeah.
I was like, this is really cool.
Yep.
I hope it's like, I think the thing that'll make or break it for me is how much I believe what is going on.
Like how much you buy into the universe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I see we've seen video game trailers for games that you and our friend Ryan maybe are more inclined to like, where you're a character with a really big sword and they're fighting these weird monsters, and that's just not my thing.
Sure.
And so having this spider-like creature, it looks cool, but I'm also a bit like there is a lot of mythology that's baked in to this this world. Some of it's kind of like the princess of Blizzard, and I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it felt like it might be trying to mirror like Dune in a way. I don't know if you got that vibe.
Potentially, but I feel like there's a lot of movies over the years.
Sure, that
like
take inspiration and
Jupiter
whatnot.
Ascending. Right. Just kind of sci-fi movies that try to have this empire / world building it's just, some of it sounds silly, and I just hope it doesn't seem silly.
Yeah.
I'm really eager to, and I think I'm interested because I'm a Zack Snyder fan, and I'm interested because you're seeing somebody who has a vision. There's I don't think it's a monetary, you could see it as a monetary thing, but I don't see it as a monetary angle to have like this 2-part. I think there's somebody who wants to tell a story.
Yeah,
and I support anybody who's passionate enough. Like, this has been something that he's wanted to make. Mm-hmm. He's able to make it.
Yeah.
Also, we can move on, hopefully, we'll probably never move on from people who are like, well, now that he's done with Rebel Moon, now
Justice
he can,
League,
you know.
Right.
So,
but yeah, I mean, I think I'm happy. I'm happy that this looks good at least. And like I'm wanting him, I'm wanting for this to be successful so that he has a universe that he can like really build out. You know, like I think he really set out to do that with the DC universe, and I think his plans were really cool. I wish we could have seen it all come to fruition before we moved on, but that wasn't the case. And I think he tried again with Army of the Dead and trying to build a universe there. I'm not sure like that movie was totally like received well or did well enough for it to like make a universe. So yeah, I hope this one is what sticks it for him. And yeah, I'm just hoping it's good.
I mean, I hope it's good too. I think, lots of cool visuals, interesting ideas.
Yeah.
Tried and true kind of things about rebellion.
Yeah. Like I really kind of digged the villain kind of uniforms, because they were very much like mirroring like a Nazi type like uniform. It was very, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a bit on the nose though?
Sure, but like a lot of the stuff in this felt like it was like pulling from the real world. Like you even had like a guy in like a suit, not a suit, but you know, like a dress shirt and a tie at one point. And I was like, okay, I mean, you would have never seen that in Star Wars, like somebody in a tie, you know? So I think it's cool that we're getting like a different kind of inspiration and a visual style and a different kind of vibe than Star Wars would have ever been. So yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. Well, so that's it we had for Rebel Moon. But next we wanted to talk about the
Monarch.
Well, okay, sure, we can go there first.
Oh, what are we talking about? I'm sorry.
It's fine. Let's go to Monarch.
Okay.
I mean, because that's really exciting, to be honest. So this show is Apple TV Plus exclusive. It is. Let's see. I have it here. The official synopsis reads: following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco, which is
the 2014
King
movie.
of the Monsters, right?
No,
it's oh wow, it's after the first movie.
Yeah.
Oh, where was King of the Monsters located? Do you remember? I didn't watch that one.
It is it's not San Francisco.
Yeah.
I know it's not San Francisco.
I know. Like the fourth one is Hong Kong or something like that, or somewhere.
Fourth one.
The fourth, Godzilla versus Kong is in like China.
Oh,
I just don't know where. The others take place.
Yeah, I don't know where that second movie's like King of the Monsters, but I know
that's very interesting.
San Francisco is 2014.
And so it then says that leveled San Francisco and the shocking revelation that monsters are real. Monarch Legacy of Monsters tracks two siblings following in their father's footsteps to uncover their family's connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Now, I love this. I love everything about this idea, because the idea is that there is going to be a character that spans 3 generations called, he's an army soldier called, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it, Lee Shaw. And It's going to be played by father and son actors Kurt and Wyatt Russell, and Kurt Russell's like my favorite actor, maybe, and I'm so excited to see. I think if this concept was tied to anything, I'd be down, because it's such a cool concept to have this father and son playing the same character. But the fact that it's being used to kind of build out this part of the universe that I always think should have been focused on for the Godzilla universe, I'm very excited about that, because it feels like Monarch's been so underutilized.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I do think that there's too much human involvement sometimes with
right, but it's usually with a bad story,
right? And
this is like finally a compelling story, maybe,
right?
Yeah.
So, no, yeah. The synopsis of the show sounds really, really cool. I dig that Wyatt and Kurt. The only thing that's a bummer is that they can't act together, because they're playing the same character.
Sure.
But it is very interesting to have that decade-spanning story.
Right.
The two, siblings.
I don't think they're going to be shown much. I think it's going to be more like an intro into the show. Mm-mm. You don't think so?
They're going to be integral. Because here's the thing.
Just thinking about them.
Godzilla lore. There's two, sisters.
Uh-huh.
Who, when Mothra gets introduced, there's these two sisters who awaken Mothra, are integrally tied to Mothra. That's how Monarch is going to come to be. Monarch, like a big, butterfly, Mothra. We see Mothra in King of the Monsters. They've been frozen or whatever for a while. That is that story, I believe. And it's also
okay. As long as they're not the majority of every episode, I'm okay with that. I need Kurt and Wyatt Russell to be mainly the main characters in this. I'm okay if there's other main characters.
I do think that they're maybe not the main, but right. they'll be in quite a bit.
If they showcase off the show that's Kurt and Wyatt Russell spanning 3 generations as the same character, and then focus on 2 other characters, I think everyone would be so mad. Rightfully.
I just think that they're going to be in it a lot.
Sure. More than I thought, probably. But yeah.
Have you seen the images released?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think it's going to be a bit how Godzilla 2014 was. But probably show Godzilla.
They're going to show more than
that.
Yeah.
But I think what's smart is Godzilla looks great.
Yeah, he does.
I'm assuming there's going to be other Titans.
Yeah.
But I think it won't be a lot. It'll be mostly
I think it'll be very human centered in this.
But because you don't have to show Godzilla a lot, I think that's what's going to make. That's why the budget. Also, it's being made by Apple, so they have no budget. Really.
Oh, you're saying they can go... Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Apple TV shows tend to look pretty amazing. So, yeah, I'm very excited that aren't they owned by Warner Brothers? Yeah. That's interesting that they're not doing it on Max. Their loss, I guess.
Well, I'm assuming Apple had to pay for the rights to produce this story.
Sure. So maybe not their loss. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how that deal worked out. I have no idea how any of that's I don't know how Netflix is also making King of whatever that Skull Island show.
Oh yeah. So so they just sold all the rights to every studio and
I don't know about selling, but maybe licensing
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, they didn't sell it. You're right. But no, that's interesting. Because I know, well, I mean, back to this too. They kind of made it seem like this was going to be a sequel in a way to the last movie that came out. But if the official synopsis is after San Francisco was leveled, I mean, that's clearly a direct sequel to the first one, right?
I think.
Yeah. So,
but it could go up to
Sure. There. It could be going a ton of different times. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see this great concept. I'm excited to see Monarch be fleshed out, even though I've only seen 2 of the 4 movies here. I think Monarch could be a better Shield, maybe. Who knows?
A better Shield?
Look, I was never a fan of Shield in the MCU, to be honest. So I was a fan of the individual characters, like Coulson and Nick Fury, but can't say I was a huge fan of Shield.
I mean, you didn't get to learn a lot about them.
No.
But they were cool in Avengers.
Sure. Yeah, I feel you. But no, here's the thing. I think this show could make this whole universe better. Because the last movie really pissed me off. I know you liked it a lot, but
you just gotta have fun with it.
Yeah, well, I'm down to have fun with a bad movie, but there wasn't much fun to be had. I'll say that. I don't know, at least for me. But yeah, so I think that's all we had to say on this.
Yeah,
this news
looks cool.
Looks very cool. Lastly, here,
right.
Yeah, we have a new game that we teased earlier in the podcast. It's called Walking Dead Destinies, and it's a game that's taking place during the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead, and basically you get to make different choices along the way if you want to, and see how they all play out. The big one that the game marketed in the trailer and all the advertising stuff was that. I mean, how much? Actually, let me first say this: how much have you've seen nothing of The Walking Dead? Okay.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
I've seen up to when. Spoiler alert. You've had time.
Yeah, this is gonna be a whole spoiler. Yeah.
When Glenn got his head bashed in.
Okay,
pretty much.
So basically, you've seen all of what this game is gonna be covering. The big thing they marketed was that, like, what if Rick died in the field and Shane didn't? Like, what if Shane killed Rick?
Oh.
Yeah, and so basically they show, like, at the beginning of the trailer, they show like Shane leading the group to the prison, so that he's the leader of the group now and not Rick. I think there's so much potential for, like.
Is that the jumping off point, or is that just one of the possibilities?
So you would start basically when Rick wakes up in the hospital.
Okay,
is what I'm hearing. It starts from the beginning of season 1 to the end of season 4. So you get to play out the whole governor storyline, because that ends like midway through season 4. Yeah, a ton of stuff everything at the farm. So I'm thinking the
worst season.
I really wouldn't say that, but that's
the slowest, like, dead screeching halt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was tough to get through. That farm season, or like, that was just so slow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got that slow. Like, thank God for getting to the prison, because
the prison was a better season. Sure.
Oh my God, it was a better season.
So season 1 was better than season 2 as well. So yes, it's a worse season, but I still like it a lot, because there's a lot of good stuff that happens.
Like what?
Like
you mean
Maggie and Glenn getting together?
Sure.
And Sophia coming out of the barn, and like Carol's daughter. Like that was a crazy moment, a great moment.
But it's so
you had Dale's death. You had that huge scene in the field with Shane and Rick and Carl. But
this is stuff that we could have gone to much quicker.
I guess. I feel
I'm gonna sew you up and tell you the story about him.
This was probably one of my first binge watches ever. So I watched like most of season 2 in one day.
That's disgusting.
It was like 10 hours like straight of TV. So that was
also
quite a day.
You were a teenager.
Yep. So I could do that. But yeah, so I'm thinking here, big moments that could change the narrative, the story here. Like in season 1, what if Carol dies instead of her husband? Because Carol, spoiler alert, she lives the entire show. So like, how crazy would the show be if she's just not around?
What if Rick died in the hospital?
Yeah, sure, that could happen, but I don't know from what.
From a zombie.
Were there zombies in the hospital?
I don't know, but what if there was?
Yeah. What if there was?
What would there be a show? Would there be a story? Is it gonna go that far?
It would genuinely just start at that point. If he died, it would just cut to like the camp where like there's where there's Carl and Lori and like everyone else surviving.
Like what if it's just like Rick wakes up, dies,
That's so funny.
And then it's just like, all right, that happened.
Well, just
We're
cut to Shane.
Yeah.
Shane's our main character now.
Shane dies on the side of the road.
But yeah, I mentioned other big moments. Dale's death would I'm not sure it'd have a ton of impact, but he was a pretty great character. Andrea at the end of season 2 splits from the group, which causes her to go to the governor's camp for a while, and she meets Michonne that way.
The blonde woman.
Yeah. Who was awful, like one of the worst characters.
I can't remember, but I don't remember having a good feeling about that name.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's crazy? The same actress played in The Boys, the Soldier Boy's love interest. Crimson Countess? Was that her name? Yeah, she plays her. And I didn't even recognize her until like I looked at the IMDb for it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, think of how different that would be though. If Andrea stays with the group and there's never like a split where she joins the governor. And there's a moment in season 4 where Merle gets killed by the governor's group. And so like think how crazy that would be if Daryl still had his brother for the whole rest of the show.
What if they show up at the prison and then the governor just has a heart attack?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think the game is going to have these crazy decisions or consequences like you think. But
these are the things that I want.
You want insane stuff to happen at any time.
I want Mad Lib.
But I think it's more going to be like...
The group shows up at the prison.
Right.
And everyone's wearing dresses.
All right, guys, we gotta get dresses before we go into the prison. What? Why? I want to, okay? All right, let's just do it. That's all you need.
Yeah. A whole group of people in the town were celebrating Cinco de Mayo, and then they became zombies. So all the zombies are now wearing festive Hispanic garb.
There you go. But I think no, okay, I guess I'm thinking of a different show. Never mind. But yeah, so it's more going to be like you play as these characters and then you get to make certain choices. So you're not just going to be able to play Rick. It looks like you'll be able to play Rick, Daryl, Michonne, Glenn, and I think... Is there anyone else in there? I think Carol as well. So at least 5 characters you get to play as. And it's not like the game looks like amazing graphically, but like it's enough that you get to like play as these characters, do combat, scavenge for food, make different choices. Like I'm here for it. Like it doesn't look amazing quality wise in that, like graphic sense or polished sense, but I think it's enough, And like when has a game ever done this where they go back to like seasons of a show or a movie and be like, yeah, you make the choice here and see what's different. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I would be potentially down to play it.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little let down up a lot at the choices. Like I feel like
we don't know any of the choices besides the Rick and Shane thing, but yeah.
Okay. I'd just be interested to know the extent.
Sure. I feel you.
Because if it's just like at key moments, I'll be a bit like yes, it would be cool to see the rest of the story like evolve, like
right.
And if you keep making different changes, like what would happen. But it would be cool to get it a bit, I don't know, more in depth. But
I feel you.
I also understand that what I'm asking for
is pretty crazy. Like so much
requires a lot,
so much work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I had to say on the game here. And I think that's all we had to talk about on our topics. Did you watch anything this past week?
I don't. I mean, I've been watching Harley Quinn and I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows and Superman. But anything, I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, just.
Because we don't have a ton of time, I just want to run through these 2 really quick.
Sure.
I finished Succession. The finale, amazing. I'm so happy with how it ended.
It sticks it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy a show finally sticks an ending. I'm spoilers obviously here, but I'm so happy that that it turned out the way it did, that Shiv backed out, that there was this crazy fight in this moment where you really learn and realize,
I'm the eldest boy.
Oh my gosh, you realize that he's so unfit for this job. He's incredibly unfit for it.
But his character, his personality, his entire being is entwined to be.
I feel you. I feel you.
It is so tragic. Like the show is such a tragedy.
It is a tragedy
because he. What is he if not for that? For
he's him.
He's literally what is he?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a purpose, and he never will now.
You're right. But yeah, I mean, and it's a tragedy for all of them. But I love that Roman like finally realizes like, yeah, we're all bullshit, man. Like just deal with it. And so he goes back to the life he was living before the show, and Shiv makes a move and stays in an unhappy marriage with Tom. And I love that Tom gets to be the man on top at the end. I hate that Greg's plan didn't work out, but at least Tom still got his back.
Exactly.
And,
he's still like
he's still there.
Yeah.
Even though his boss called him the Judas. But yeah, I think great finale. And then I also really quick watched the Mutant Mayhem movie. And I just wanted to highlight this because I don't know whenever I get to talk about it. Great movie. For anyone who's wondering, you should watch it. It's got a ton of heart. The chemistry between the main four it's really amazing. A great soundtrack full of like 90s and early 2000s like New York hip hop. A really deep kind of message at the end, and yeah, great art style, great visuals, great fighting. I couldn't really be much happier with this movie, to be honest. So
I wish I will get around to watching it.
Yeah.
It's just been very hard lately to find the time.
Because if you notice, obviously we didn't review Blue Beetle today because neither of us had the time to see it this past week.
Yeah, so I will try to.
We'll try to review it by next podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I watched this past week, and I think that's all we have to talk about.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to us in the future, we are releasing now on Sundays, most likely. I know there was a delay last time, but we had a lot of technical problems.
Yeah, my laptop broke again.
Yep.
I have a new laptop.
A new one. Right.
So we will probably next week be doing our first live stream, potentially.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Thank you to Joe from Modern Studios in Manassas, Virginia, for having us record here.
Yep. Link will be in the description if you want to book time.
Yep. Book time, do photo shoots, whatever.
Yep.
Check the portfolio.
And if you want to support us in the future, we
are on YouTube.
We on YouTube. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Podbean.
And Podbean and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you want to support us even further, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or subscribe on any of those platforms. And the links to all those will be in the description below as well.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about anything we talked about today.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening or watching.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Until next time.